Hello, everyone. Today it's an exciting meeting that we have. Today we'll be meeting with Eric with My ATM Guys. A little background about Eric. Eric actually went to school with my nephew in the town where I was born, and the world is so small that we get to meet 1,000 miles apart. But
Yep.
we know from each other from the town that we live. But Eric, before I get started, I want to introduce you. Number of ATMs deployed over 1,000 machines.
Yeah, roughly 1,000 machines, a little over north 1,000 machines.
That's excellent. Cash dispensed annually,
Uh,
$108 million. That's a lot of 20s. I'm sure you
yep.
do fives and tens as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Years in the industry, over 18 years. It started right at high school. So talk about hustles and talk about 18 years later. Great job. Average passive income per location, $40 per machine or per TID. Great. Customer retention. How old is your oldest contract? Your oldest contract or TID has been with you since 1999. So it's probably the first or the second location that you got started. Eric, tell us something about yourself and then we will dig deeper here.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of grew up in the ATM world. Like my father was a wholesaler back in the day when I was a kid in, elementary school, middle school, and he started tinkering with ATMs. And again, 1999, when ATMs were deregulated. He bought a few on a credit card cash advance. So I kind of like grew up learning the ATM industry from the old Tydells and WRG machines back in the day, and kind of saw everything evolve. And yeah, I remember the first count in 1999, and it's still here today, still a great customer of ours. Kind of seeing the generations take over, just like in our business as well. So it's fun, it's unique. It's just great. It's great when you're doing something good for people and being a value add to them. I think it's just awesome.
That's excellent. And the reason I invited you is because you have a great presence in the state where you reside and you do a lot of mobile events. Can you tell us, because mobile event season is about to get started or already started, I imagine.
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
you
So
tell us more about that?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we have, we built out this whole ATM trailer that, it has basically three highest hung force through the wall machines. So it looks like almost a drive up ATM, but it's a trailer. So it has cutouts. It's great. Not the best return on investment, but it got our name out there like crazy. Like everybody saw the trailer, like, oh my gosh, it's wrapped with our logo and everything. So really cool. Events are very unique though, because you don't really know what event is going to produce for you until you do it. Right. So there's a lot of losses in the event space, but it's also great publicity for you in your like retail business because the county fairs, the flea markets, the big things, you have small business owners that go to those. And when they see you standing out and seeing your presence, it just puts a little bug in their ear of, you have something else to offer. Um, I never say don't try it. Try it once, and then you can figure out what that sweet spot is. Like we have a lot of events, we charge them, $500 to show up with the ATMs. We keep the full surcharge, but it's a service because they want cash there. They want people to have the ability to have cash. So I think I I suggest it. I don't say go out of your way digging for it, but I think it's a great ad and it's just great publicity for you and your business, especially if you have it all branded to your event space, your business.
So if I understand well, you're not going so much for the event, but you're going out because you want to put your name out there and you
Correct.
want to show your presence to the community.
Exactly. And you know, most of us have businesses in a tight community, right? Like not everybody is, thousands of machines. A lot of people have 30, 50, 100 machines, usually within driving distance. It'd be nice to hold that portfolio and that demographic tight. So if you have, you're not letting somebody else into that little flea market or the little craft fair. If you're there, it kind of shows that you're part of the community, which I think helps, and it creates that retention for long-term success. And again, sometimes you'll hit the home run where you put an event and it goes through even 30 grand, but you might be charging $5 a transaction, and it's like, oh, that was a good day.
Yeah,
The other side
yeah.
is
I, I think that's a lot. That's how a lot of us got hooked on an event. That all of a sudden you make $1,500 on one night on 4 6 hours.
yep.
But can you be realistic and tell us how often you get that? You
Uh,
know what I mean?
yeah. It's not often. It's not often at all, especially now. Like the reality of like the cash world is changing. Like everybody who listens to this podcast is in the ATM world. They see the transactions dipping per store, year over year, month over month. Um, so the whole industry is changing. Even event spaces, like we have a lot. Like one year we had a county fair here. We went through $200,000 in a week. Right, it was great. Next year went through 100,000. So
That was quite a change.
yeah, huge change. And part of the issue was like, there's a lot of advancements in technology too. So where we had this fair, the cell service wasn't great. This will be a good testament to DPL, but we had DPLs on there with a dual SIM and put a beacon on them. They never failed that day. All the other vendors are trying to do Square tap, nothing would work. So everybody was resorting to cash. Next year they had Verizon come in with a truck, all the Square readers were working great. Yeah. So yeah, again, it's not often, but you have a lot of people who do want just cash available, so,
Yeah.
and that's where you have to realize, like, look at the other vendors that are there. Like, maybe not the best analogy, but the porta potties, right? The fairs and everybody pay for the porta potties to be there for convenience. That's where I
Yes.
think the event space has to be with ATMs. Is you're coming here, you're doing a service to them, they have to pay for that service, right? You can put limits of like $500 minimum. When you get over that space, then I'll pay you guys $1 a transaction if you wanted to. But I don't. I think the space of where the ATM mobile event stuff is going.
When does your event season start?
So it started last weekend. I mean, we kind of have small stuff going out throughout the year. But we had like gun shows all winter long where we bring two machines and let the ATMs run, do their thing, pick them up at the end of the event. But I'd say this past weekend it started. We have a big one coming up this weekend. So today's Wednesday, April 22nd. So we have a big one coming this coming weekend. And then it's almost every weekend or every other weekend throughout October. So it's going to be crazy. You're always on call. That's the worst part of the events is just hoping the phone does not ring.
Yeah. When we got started in the ATM business, before we had kids, there was a summer that's all I did just because I wanted to collect more cash. And by the end of the summer, my wife is like, I don't think we need to do more events.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we don't have to.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's a
It's
lot.
a lot of work.
It's a lot. It's a stress
lot.
that underlines it, that like this county fair, I put 9 machines out there for the week. It's not far drive from me, but like if the phone rings, it's going to be urgent. They need it up and running, and you're going to be over there with somebody looking over your shoulder the entire time. So it's there's a stress involved in it for sure. Like without a doubt, the cash is good, but realize most events are on weekends. They're not weekdays during your normal working hours or weekends when you want to be relaxing. So, but again, not everybody will do it. So there's always a space there for opportunity.
Yeah. Can you be more specific too on what kind of challenges people might encounter if they enter into one?
Yeah. So, I mean, I always use new equipment. So if I were to make suggestions, use new equipment. Don't bring something used in that's going to have a build jam or, a misfeed, cash box having issues, not grabbing the bills. Use new equipment. I don't use anything more than 2 years old. So basically anything I use in the event space is under warranty. Man, that's the biggest thing I'd say. Invest in the DPL Hercules wirelesses. They're great, even with like the reboots built in. Just the remote monitoring, instant RMS with those. That's kind of our setup. So we use new equipment, either a Gen Mega Onyx or the highest lung forces. Primarily the forces is what we've been using just for the structure, like much solid, not a lot of flex in the build. And then DPLs. The DPLs have been just killer for us.
So I made the mistake a while back to put Triton's 9100 on my events. And I did that because they were the lighter ones.
Yeah.
They were the lightest one. And I just didn't want to use a lot of strength.
Yep.
And that event did poorly because they were old machines. They had I think it took 4 transactions before a bill jammed.
Wow.
And then I had to go at night to pick it up, and then just realize it was my fault. It was not the machine's fault.
Yeah,
And there's people looking for cash, but the equipment was bad. So
exactly.
very important.
And
Yeah.
and I think people need to realize, like, the event season, it's summertime essentially, right? Primarily.
Yeah.
So even if you use the machine for one season, then recycle it, put it out into the field, into your normal retail location, and then get something new for the event season. So you always have recycling inventory. It's a lifesaver. Like, you need new equipment for events, and you're if especially if you're branded with your brand all over it, you don't want a huge event with 100,000 people there, and then they see your branding and the ATM's out of service, right? You kind of have to look professional in that space as well. You're getting a lot of people walking by that machine. It's more than you have in the gas station.
Yeah. And the second thing that you mentioned was, or you actually mentioned this before, connectivity. I understand what the issue is. Can you tell us why these DPL stands up behind any other provider?
Oh, yeah. So we used, like, standard wirelesses that you'd see, if you just search in ATM wirelesses. I'm not going to name any of the companies, but we've used those. And whenever that territory gets saturated, right? They're typically one cell carrier. Some of them have dual SIM. But if that area gets saturated, if people grabbing their phones, making calls constantly, the towers get overloaded and you'll drop off. And then you'll just see, walking by the machine, people standing there with their card in the machine for 15 minutes waiting for the ATM to time out. Not a good look. DPL is nice because you can call them and say, hey, I have this huge event for this weekend. Can you put a beacon on these machines? Just reach out to them, give them the serial number of the box, and it'll keep like a constant ping on that box. And I'm telling you, that year that we've had, $200,000 go through a fair, not a single transaction dropped, which is, huge.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's huge. And all the vendors were so happy. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you did it. Like, I'm like, I don't know either, but it's great. And they're all happy. It was a good look for us.
Yeah, I think that was the other mistake that I made it was an event here at a town, at a mountain town. And I think there was just like 10,000 people, but there was no capacity. And then the machines were D2500s. And that's a lot what we got. It's like, my machine has a D2500. It's like, oh, can't
And there's
do
nothing
anything.
worse
Can't
than
do anything.
feeling useless, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
standing there trying to fix it, but it's like, yeah, it's beyond my control. Like, a cell phone's a cell phone. Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's the worst feeling.
And before we got started, we talked about a lot about our branding and our marketing. Will you tell us why we have to deliver a good product?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we were talking to, about 1,000 machines out there that are in our network. These are all, essentially branded or grown organically, right? We didn't do any Facebook ads, nothing like that. This is all referral based, stopping in, dropping off a card. And, I'd say 90% of the business that we have is all organic. Um, you know, Referral, not even like us going into a store and knocking cold calling. It's strictly referral from another business. And, that all comes with reputation. If you don't deliver, you don't keep your promise, people won't stay. Um, and you never know what's next, right? Like, we all see the ATM industry changing. Um, we all have to adapt, whether it's diving in or looking for other strategies. But if you keep a good reputation and you're always doing the right thing, people trust you, they trust your word. Um, and you never know what's next. So you're always keeping other tools in your pocket, whether you're offering merchant services, right? People call us all the time for merchant services. I don't really personally like dealing with it, so I refer a lot of that, but they trust my referral. So again, you never know what's next. You never know what the next tool that you can offer to the customers. And you want to be that person that people can call on and be like, hey, Eric will have the answer, or hey, Franco will have the answer. Call him. That's the perfect world.
I would say that's what we strive for,
Yeah.
because we're not just the ATM providers; we're solution providers for them.
Yep. Exactly. And that's where opportunity comes, right? Is any opportunity in the world, you have time, and if there's a major issue and you have a solution to it, that's where opportunity comes from. And that's where, if you have something to offer that solves an issue, you're golden, as long as you deliver.
Of course. Can you tell us about an example that you were able to do something like that?
Yeah. So years ago, my father and I got involved in the energy space, which was just deregulated energy. We built a huge portfolio. People trusted us. They called us, and we were able to offer them a slight discount on their utility bills. And it was great. My father and I did well. We had about 20,000 customers in our portfolio in that business. And yeah, it was great. And more recently, we got involved with a health share program where this is the ATM world. The phone rings constantly.
Sorry, we'll keep you in here for another 7 more minutes so we can get back to it. Reputation is important, and that phone is gone for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so we got involved with a health share network, and I've been in a health share personally. It's basically an alternative to health insurance. Just quick background: my wife and I got married 2017. She was a school teacher. In 2020, my son was born. And, I had insurance through her as a school teacher. I'm self-employed, so I didn't want to shop for health insurance. But, she went back to work for a little bit. Yeah, a little postpartum depression going on. And, we decided the best solution was for her to stay home. Unbeknownst to me, I'm like, all right, I'll make up the difference in income. Like, I can figure that out. And then I didn't realize how expensive health insurance was. Our quote was $2,450 through the New York State marketplace. There's a whole nother mortgage payment. And I'm like, what in the world? So I heard about health sharing. I'm doing my research. I signed up with one. It was great. My daughter was born in 2023, worked very well. And most health shares are all denominational. So this one that I was with was strictly Christian, wouldn't accept any other religion, whatever. It was fine. It saved me a ton of money. But more recently, we started marketing another health share called Impact Health Sharing. Non-denominational, come one, come all. It's fantastic for me and my family. I'm paying $576 a month for a $2,500 deductible for the whole family.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's great. We've been bringing this to our customers because, again, in the small business world, you're 1099. Unfortunately, the 1099 people are the ones who get hammered by health insurance. You're shopping the marketplace. You're paying the most expensive price for something you're probably not going to use. This fills that gap. Like, we've saved one customer had a quote for, or he's paying $3,200 a month. His price with us came back at $609.
Wow.
So, yeah, huge price gap. So it's been good.
So if we have a portfolio of 800 accounts, and if I can touch of them, let's say if I can touch 20% of them or 40% of them, I can present them with another product.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And it's a win-win because now you're dropping them. What did you say you dropped them?
So typically it's between 30 to 50% savings. That's their conservative number. But I've seen much more. I mean, me personally, I went from $2,450 down to $576. So,
five times.
Yeah.
Wow. And that could be a mortgage payment.
Oh yeah.
That could be a reduction for a mortgage payment, or that money goes into a 529 to invest for the kids' education.
Exactly. And the reality is, we were just listening to talk radio earlier, and they were saying $300 is the difference that somebody needs between bankruptcy and not filing bankruptcy. $300. Wow. This is something I'm like, okay, well, I just saved myself, $1,900. That's a good thing.
That's a bigger cushion.
Yeah, much bigger cushion. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we always look at these things as it's an added tool in the toolbox, right? We're in the solutions business, like you said. And if I have a solution that I can offer you and I make a residual on it and it's not going to hurt me and it's good for you, I'm in.
It's a win-win for everybody. Do we need to be licensed for that?
No, because it's not health insurance, which is unique. Yep. So even going down the rabbit hole a little bit, but in doctor's offices cannot recommend health insurance. It's illegal. Health sharing, they can. Which is pretty cool. So we've had a radiology office in New Jersey actually signed up to be a customer, saving $100,000 a year because he's offering it to all of the employees. So it's all money back in his pocket.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it's unique. Excellent. Definitely unique. And great feedback too, which is nice. It's nice when you're doing something, you're having the conversation, and somebody's like, "Wow, that's fantastic. Makes a lot of sense." Those are the conversations when you're onto something, when you see the emotional reaction coming back at you.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. I think for everybody that listens to, if they want to know more about that, how do they go?
Is it okay to share my contact info?
Yeah. This is yours, buddy.
Awesome. So I would say call me. My cell phone number is 845-234 9331, Eric at myatmguys.com. Kind of easy. Reach out. I'm happy to answer questions. You know, you probably heard my phone ring a few times. It's constant. So my family's very much used to me getting calls throughout the day and throughout the night. So call me anytime. I'm happy to answer these questions.
Maybe too on the in the YouTube link we put your contact there, and if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that'd be awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I know we might not be getting the entire full picture here of what we want to talk to, but just a closing remarks. What's a piece of advice you will give to new ATM operators?
Don't set the bar too high for yourself. Right. I think we all see that in the Facebook worlds of somebody getting into the ATM business. Oh, it's a great opportunity. It's all passive. It's all passive until the phone rings. Right. I've driven 4 hours unnecessarily yesterday. And so don't set the bar or the expectations too high for yourself. Be humble. Always do the right thing is what it comes down to.
I think that's for any business.
Yeah.
That's for any business. Yeah. What does success means to you beyond profits, and how do you use your platform to make a difference?
Yeah, so success, I guess, would be when you have that trust, that unquestionable trust from everybody. You know, somebody can call you with a question and they know you'll give them the honest answer. I think that's more successful than the dollar number that you come out with. When people just trust you unconditionally, I think that's success. And, you know, I look at my kids, like I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and that's when you start questioning, like, man, am I doing the right thing? Am I bringing them up the right way? And what it comes down to is if you're always doing the right thing and people trust you, you have nothing to question. I think that's success.
Because I have seen you and your dad,
yeah,
I have no doubts of the example. And then, of course, I go to your website and I see your logo. And it was just like,
yeah.
Just like, there's an elephant, and we know what an elephant means in the world of animals. And then I see the second elephant. So great job.
Thank you.
I would say, I don't know if it means anything, but I'm very proud of you guys. I'm very proud of you, and it's excellent. So
thank you, Franco. No, I appreciate it. It's funny, like you were sharing, like I went to school with your nephew, and man, we were sitting together, I think, in a breakout room at PAI conference, and I don't know how it came up, but you're like, or I shared my phone number 845, and I was like, where are you from? And Newburgh. You're like, did you go to NFA? Yeah. Like it's like Jordan Ventura. Yeah.
Little world.
Nephew, yeah. It's a very small world. It's crazy. In the ATM world is small, and then you branch out even a little further.
Yeah. The last question was, where can listeners learn more from you? But I think you did provide that. But I always say it again, so in case somebody did not get that.
Yeah. So myatmguys.com is my one site. And then for the event space, we actually have mobileatm.com. If somebody wants to look in there and see pricing, see what the build out looks like, feel free to look around the pictures. My cell phone's 845-234-9331 and Eric at myatmguys.com.
And I know that we focus our conversation about mobile ATMs. You do more than that. So people don't have to hesitate about reaching out to you.
No, not at all. Not at all. We do quite a bit. It's one of those things that we're solutions based. So I have like CRM knowledge, some little AI knowledge, the mobile event space, the retail ATM space, obviously the health sharing, a whole slew of things that we try to funnel into one relationship.
That's excellent. So Eric, again, thank you very much. And we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you, Franco.
Thank you.